Here's what happens. Things are falling into place. You've finally got a decent job, maybe a partner, decent or not. Maybe you've been renting for a while, or you're still at home with Ma and Pa. Either way, you've made the call. It's time to move out. It's a biggie, I remember it well. And it is certainly one of the most exciting things ever. What most people do next is the biggest mistake I see first-time buyers make all the time, and in this video I'm going to talk you through how to avoid it so you can be well ahead of the game and, more importantly, your competition. The mistake is to do things in the wrong order. It's so easy to start falling in love with places. Maybe you've even started booking viewings and you're already shaking hands with the world's most questionable people that are estate agents. Oh! Sorry. That is a bit cruel, I know, but to let you in on a little secret, many years ago I actually had a brief stint as an estate agent for 6 months or so, and my God, I hated it. I've even seen it where you're already picking out furniture and talking about your plans for an outdoor kitchen. This is the trap I do not want you to fall into. Let me explain why. Before you sit there every single night browsing through Rightmove, don't worry, you will definitely get there. You need to get a handle on your numbers first. And the first part of this is understanding what you can afford to borrow. By doing this, when you come to start your house hunt, you'll know exactly what you can afford. And this stops you falling into the trap of looking at houses that are outside of your reach, only to be heartbroken further on down the line when you realise you can't actually make that purchase happen. So here's the exact order that you should go through. The easiest place to start to do this is to go on the website for your own bank or building society where your accounts are and look for some calculators. Here's an example. If we jump on HSBC, click on mortgages, click on how much could you borrow, you'll be presented with a calculator you can fill in and it will tell you what HSBC might lend you. Couple of points to note. Not all lenders will lend you the same. Some will lend you more, some will lend you less. Jumping on the calculators for your own bank or building society is just a starting point, as in this example, this is only telling us what HSBC will potentially lend to us. What you want to know is what would the wider market in general maybe lend to you. But the problem is the market is huge. There are loads of lenders offering loads of different products. So where do you start? The best thing that you can do is seek out a mortgage advisor, sometimes called a mortgage broker. What they will do is have a look at the whole of the market, all the different lenders and products that are out there, and make a recommendation to you based on your personal circumstances, which will really help you get a much better view of the market as a whole. Now, most mortgage advisors would be more than happy to have a free, no obligation introductory chat with you over the phone. So ask some family and friends for recommendations of advisors and brokers that did a great job for them, and failing that, have a look on Unbiased. I'll leave a link in the description below. That's another great place to start to look. So let's use that calculator and run through an example scenario. We've got applicant 1 on £25,000 a year and applicant 2 on £20,000 a year. So £45,000 a year in total. HSBC are telling us that they might lend us £213,750. Now remember, this is just a rough indication at this stage. This is not them committing to these numbers. You haven't told them about your outgoings, debts, or credit history, for example, so this might not be the final figure. This is another area that a mortgage advisor can be really helpful with, because you will have given them all details of your outgoings, credit cards, debt, etc. Now, when you buy a house, the bank aren't simply going to give you all the money. They did once upon a time, but that didn't end very well. So you need a deposit. You will find lenders currently that will allow you to put in as little a deposit as 5%. But I'd recommend, as a rule of thumb, you aim for 10% of the purchase price. And the reason for this is it will open up a lot more lenders and products, which will give you a higher chance of success in securing what you need. So let's take that figure of £213,750 that the bank have said in this example they might lend to us. And let's say that we want to put in 10% deposit, so we're asking the bank for 90%. In order to find where the top of our budget is, what we're going to do is divide the figure that they would lend to us, that £213,750, by the percentage that they are giving us, 90%. That will give you a figure of £237,500, and that is the most that we can pay for a property in this example. And if you multiply that figure by 10%, you will find the deposit that you need, £23,750. The next thing to do is to answer the question, but do you want to borrow that much? Just because that's what they will lend you doesn't mean you have to take that much. That's the max. And in order to answer this question, what you need to do is to have a look at the monthly mortgage repayments and see how they fit into your own personal budget. And ask yourself the question, would you be comfortable paying that much? Jumping back onto our calculator, we can see a Calculate My Monthly Payments button. And if we put our numbers in, over 25 years, it might be £875 a month on a rate of 1.7%. If it was, say, 2% in interest, it would be £906. If we were to knock 5 years off down to 20 years at 2%, it would be £1,081 a month. You get the idea. Play with the interest rate and the term and see where you'd be happy within your own personal budget. Don't forget, you don't just need £23,750 for your deposit. There are other costs involved in buying your first home too, like legals and moving costs. I'd allow at least another £2,000 or £3,000 for these, but I'd urge you to get some quotes so you've got a good handle on those numbers and you don't get any nasty surprises. You may have also heard about stamp duty, which is a nasty expensive old tax we pay on buying property here in the UK. In this example, because we'd be buying for less than £300,000, the way that the rules are currently, we would actually pay no stamp duty. But I would urge you to check the rules at the time that you're looking to make your purchase in case they've changed. There are loads of good stamp duty calculators online. I'll leave a link to one in the description for this video. So is it time to jump on Rightmove now? No. Nearly, but not quite. Now you need something called a decision in principle and start to make some of these numbers official. This is where you go through the detail with the lender that you've chosen or that the advisor has recommended to you about all of your outgoings, credit commitments, and they'll check your credit score, etc. And if passed, what you will be presented with is a piece of paper, which is essentially a promise from the lender that says, if you can prove to them what you've told them with bank statements and pay slips, etc., they will commit to lending you that figure. It's this piece of paper, along with a good handle on all of the numbers and your deposit ready and raring to go, that puts you in such a strong position as a first-time buyer to start your house hunt. And I guarantee that if you do all of that, you'll be ahead of at least 50% of your competition because they just won't be as organised as you. I've got one final tip for you before you go and start running your numbers. When you jump on Rightmove, take a look at property prices a little higher than what you can actually afford to buy in the hope that you might get yourself a deal. If this were me in this example, I might look at properties up to £250,000, maybe even a little bit more. Remember, as a first-time buyer, primed and ready to go with all your numbers in place, a mortgage in principle all agreed, and no chain, meaning nothing to sell, you are an attractive proposition, so use that to your advantage and negotiate. Happy house hunting, everyone.